Hello, Bookfighters. It is Thursday. I am Katie, and this is the fourth time I've tried to make this video. Yes, I've been trying to make this video since 4 in the afternoon, and it is now almost midnight. Now, I don't want to get into all of the stupid crap that has gone wrong in preventing me in making this video today. I want to talk about the actual topic, which is young adult literature. What I want to talk about today is sort of a hotly debated topic within the world of young adult literature right now, which is the use of sexual assault and rape as a plot element in young adult literature. And there have been several articles written recently sort of criticizing the use of this as a story element, and several authors have come out in defense of being able to use this, saying that it's important to be able to write about these things, and keeping them out of the literature doesn't protect the kids that have to genuinely deal with this stuff every day. And in general, I would say that I am on the side of the authors. I think that it's very important that we're able to write about rape and sexual assault because it's a very prevalent issue. A lot of women and men too, not quite as many, statistically speaking, but that's not the point. But a lot of young people have to deal with this subject. So keeping it out of the literature doesn't protect them from this topic. It just stops them from having any sort of resources. It just makes them feel alone, like they're the only one this happens to. They don't have anyone they can identify with. They have no resources, nowhere to go. And so it's important that we have this in literature. Also, it's important that we represent it because it's part of the world that we live in. And by not representing it, we're saying that it's not part of that world, and that's just incorrect and sort of weirdly dystopian to want to have literature that speaks that way. However, I have noticed a disproportionate number of young adult novels use rape and sexual assault as a story element, as opposed to other topics that are equally relevant, equally intense, equally something that kids have to deal with. I first noticed this a couple of years ago. I was on summer break while I was in college, and I was reading a lot of young adult literature just to sort of get myself out of the world of academia for a few months while I had the opportunity. And I found that book after book after book that I picked up used sexual assault or rape as a plot device in some way, either as the main focus of the plot or a subplot or just a character element. It was in every single book. It was 6 books right in a row that all had this as an element. And I wasn't seeking out that sort of book specifically. I was trying to read broadly, but every single one of them included this as a story element. And so ever since then, I've sort of been wondering why it is used to the degree it is. And I'm not criticizing any particular book or any specific use of rape or sexual assault as a story element, or even trying to imply that those were not the right things to use for any of those books that I've read. It just seems like it's being used more than anything else. Like, in all of those books that I read, and in fact, in all of the young adult literature that I have read, with possibly 1 or 2 exceptions. There's lots of instances of rape or sexual assault, but I haven't read a single book that deals with a kid whose parents are going through divorce, or being a teenage runaway, or substance abuse, or domestic violence, or eating disorders. I mean, I can think of maybe 1 or 2 examples of any of those elements in general. Not 1 or 2 of each of those. 1 or 2 period of any of those things that I just listed. But I read 6 books in a row that included sexual violence. And I don't know why, but something about it doesn't sit right with me. It seems like it's become sort of a go-to element to put into your story if you're trying to make it emotionally complex, or if you're trying to give this character a trauma in their past, or I don't know, it's being overused, I think, in a general sense, and I don't know why. but I feel like it's problematic. And I don't know if it has to do with the authors, or if it's a cultural problem, or if it's a feminist topic. I don't really know. But it's being used so much that it's to the exclusion of other very relevant topics. And so my non-rhetorical question is, why do you think it's being used so much in young adult literature? And why are we not talking about topics that are equally relevant and happen with equal frequency? And I wish that I could put in this video some, like, concise theory or unifying thought to this whole thing, but at this point, and I've been trying to figure it out for years, it's just sort of noticing a trend, and a trend that makes me uncomfortable, but I'm not really sure why. So hopefully I can get some feedback from you guys, and maybe together we can make a little bit more sense of this one. That's all I really have for today. My previous videos were better than this one, but that's how life goes. Alright, Julia, I will see you tomorrow.